All right, welcome everyone. I'm Lynnette Schaeffer. I am the Director of Training here at LEDVANCE, and today I'm going to be going over a couple of different products with you. This is actually part 2 of the May launch. It's pretty exciting that we had so many products that we had to have a part 2 and a part 3 still coming as well. But you can see here, we've got the FVL and the HNG. Those are both wraps. We have the ILT Vapor Tight, and we also have the Easy Swap panel, as well as the Phase EV residential charger as well. Okay, let's rock and roll. So the first one up is the, oh, I forgot, I put this in here. So what I wanted to do is, because some of our products are controls ready, I want to just have a little quick discussion on what controls ready means. You're going to start hearing that more and more from us at LEDVANCE. And so before we dig into the product specifically, I just want to give you kind of a general overview of what controls ready means. So what control ready means is that it is any luminaire or lamp that has the ability to easily accept standalone or network lighting controls without the need for any wiring, and no electrician is required either. What's cool about this is that you can easily add the control, whether it's standalone or network, at any time. You can do it upon the installation of the luminaire, or you can do it later. And what's neat is that if you decide you went with a standalone solution and you decided you want to go to a network lighting control solution instead, you can easily do that too. It's an easy plug and play. Either screw in, plug in, and there's a couple of other designs too. But either way, if you see controls ready, that's what it means. Now, similar to controls ready, we also have a few luminaires that are LLLC, luminaire level light control. And what that means is when we really talk about network lighting controls specifically, this has to do more with network lighting controls. It means that the fixture controller is embedded in the luminaire, and a lot of times is embedded in the driver itself. What's nice about luminaires that are LLLC is that in a lot of cases, you can get greater rebates, you can get stronger utility rebates, and obviously that helps pay for the cost of the project much faster and quicker as well. So there's not a lot of manufacturers out there that offer LLLC luminaires, but we do. We actually have 3 products in altogether that do have LLLC. That's part of our Link network lighting control. So just so that you guys know, if I ever talk about controls ready, you know what I'm talking about. And I don't think I'm going to be talking about LLLC today, but eventually it might come up in some other trainings that you might see. All right, so when it comes to controls ready products, all of these luminaires that you see here can easily accommodate standalone sensors, because all of these luminaires that you see on my screen right here are controls ready. What that means is you just remove the cover, screw in the standalone control solution, and you're good to go. We also have a couple wall packs, 2 of them, that can also accommodate standalone sensors. You do have to use the adapter plus the sensor, whichever one you choose to do. What's nice about the adapter is it allows you to position the sensor so it picks up the movement that you need it to pick up, which is extremely critical, right? And then we also have a couple of products here, a couple new ones, the 2 new wraps, as well as the strip, that also allow you to take an adapter, easily plug it in and screw it into the luminaire. And again, you can add standalone in this case, or you're going to find out that you can also add network lighting controls. And then we also have a couple of troffers too, that you can also easily add standalone controls to. Now, when it comes to network lighting controls, you're going to see very similarly, we have a lot of products that you can easily add network lighting controls to. Yes, you might need an adapter, but still you don't need an electrician. So it's still really super easy to install as well. And then the 3 products that have the LLLC that I just talked about are the 3 that you see on my screen. In the coming months, we are going to start talking more about controls. It's very near and dear to me, 100%. But number 2 is there's so many utility rebates out there now that are giving away awesome rebates. And and I know that those aren't going to be around forever. And so what's cool is that our system is DLC approved when you get into network lighting controls. And what's also cool is that we make it really easy to add them to our luminaires as well. All right, now we're ready to get started with our first product. So first up, we have our value class dual selectable wrap, known as the FVL. I know everybody's going to say, where does FVL come from? It doesn't come from any place except for, at least we can say, hey, what wrap do you want? And you can say FVL. So there you have it. I wish I had a better answer for you, but I don't. But anyway, this is referred to as the FVL. It is DLC standard. And by the way, it's DLC standard for linear ambient, and it's also DLC premium, which means it can be used in stairwell and passageways. And if you use them in that application, then it's DLC premium. Not sure if we clarify that on the spec sheet or not, but in case you look at the spec sheet and go, why does it say DLC standard and DLC premium? It depends on the application. Now, it's also damp location. It is FCC and RoHS, and it's backed by, of course, our trusted warranty as well. It is also controls ready, which can, again, easily accept standalone or network lighting controls, which we just spoke about. And these wraps are really great for a lot of different applications. Obviously, I have more of an industrial application on this particular photo that's on this slide. It is definitely used in industrial spaces, but you could also use it in a lot of storage areas, closets, motels, dorm rooms, hallways, some schools, offices. So there's a lot of options on where you want to use this sort of wrap. Now, these are available in 2-foot version with a 4 selectable wattage or 3 selectable CCTs, as well as a 4-foot version offering 3 selectable wattages and 3 selectable CCTs. There's also a battery backup option, which is available via MTO. Now, the 2-foot does offer lumens as low as 2,145 and as high as 4,200, while the 4-foot ranges from about 4,200 all the way up to about 7,000. Now, the max lumen wattage, it just depends again on which one you purchase, does come in at about 140 lumens per watt. It does also include the 12-volt aux, and it has that 2.5 kV of surge protection, which means it can help a little bit with voltage surges and so forth, up to 2.5 kV. Now, let me go ahead and grab this luminaire so we can kind of talk about it together. So again, this is the FVL. And some of the things that you're going to notice about this product is, first of all, it can easily accept our Link DLC approved network lighting control or standalone control via a 3.5 millimeter port that's located on the side of the luminaire. So you're going to notice right here, you're going to unscrew that, and then you just take your adapter, plug it in, and then you can plug in the control solution. Of course, it can also take the standalone option as well. And as a matter of fact, it also has a behind the lens standalone microwave sensor also available. This is what that standalone microwave sensor looks like. It's right here. And again, it doesn't take an electrician to add this. It's just a simple plug-in, which makes it really easy. And then also, of course, the microwave sensor too. Some people like it behind the lens because it does provide a little bit, security to the sensor itself. And just so you know, in case you're wondering, there is some holes in the inside of this luminaire that you'll find that microwave sensor just fits right up inside of. So that's how that works when you put the two together. Okay. And again, that is the behind the lens sensor, or on the side for the network lighting controls or other standalone controls. Okay. Now, as far as installation goes on this, what's nice is it is a toolless lens. Actually, I should repeat that one more time. It's a toolless removal because of one, you just have to squeeze the back of it together here. And then the lens is integrated with the LED tray. So all of this comes apart, which makes it really simple. A lot of other types of wraps, this tray, the LED tray, is separate from the lens. So then you have like a lens you got to deal with, and then you also have to deal with the tray, and then you also have to deal with the housing that you attach to the ceiling. So there's a lot going on. With this one, it's one complete unit, and when you open it up, there's these safety cables that allow it to hang nicely so that you can make your wire connections more simple as well. So another kind of cool feature. All right. The other thing too is that this can be surface or suspended mounted. V-hooks are included, by the way. They're just on the very back of the luminaire. You can see them right here. They come with it. There are optional aircraft cables, mounting chains, and also end-to-end joiner brackets as well. As far as the lens goes itself, you'll probably notice wraps can look differently, but at any rate, the typical idea of a wrap is it wraps around, right? So in this particular case, it is more of a arched wrap, gives it a little bit more of a modern look, in my opinion. It does have a diffused acrylic lens that does reach all the way across the entire front of the luminaire, providing more of that edge to edge and that smooth and even illumination. By the way, this is about 5.1, I guess I have it here, 5.16 inch wide. So in case you're wondering the width of this, don't forget to also take a picture. Let me get this in my hands. Of that QR code that will take you directly to the spec sheet in case you have additional questions on this particular product. Okay. All right. We are ready for our first poll question. And let me go ahead and get that one launched. All right. You guys should be seeing this. It says, what makes the FVL wrap controls ready? Is it has a sensor you need to have an electrician wire up. It easily accepts LEDVANCE Link DLC approved network controls. To choice number 3, which is the FVL wrap is not controls ready. Oh my gosh, are we going to get 100% today? Oh, I'm going to be so excited. You guys are, oh, one person, you know I was all excited, so you just purposely did that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end the poll and share the results. And yes, it easily accepts LEDVANCE Link DLC approved network kind of controls, or of course that behind the lens is also very easy, or you can do any other kind of standalone control that we have too. All right, so before we move on from that product, any questions for Eric or myself? Eric's the product manager, if I remember correctly on this one. If I'm wrong, somebody will correct me later. Was there any chats that came up that I might have missed, or any questions that might have missed? No? Okay. Well, then I think we're safe to move forward. All right, let's go ahead and go on to the next product. So next up, we have the Performance Class Dual Selectable Wrap, known as the HNG. I will grab this in just a second. It's very hard to navigate these 4-foot fixtures. So I'm just going to let it hang out there until I'm ready to pick it up. All right. All right. So what does this thing have? Well, for one, it is DLC standard for linear ambient and DLC premium when used in stairwell and passageways. It is also damp location FCC RoHS and backed by our trusted warranty, just like the other one was. It is also controls ready and can easily accommodate both standalone and network lighting controls, as we just spoke about. Now, these wraps can be used in new construction and retrofit installations. They're ideal for offices and schools, hallways, hotels, motels, dorm rooms, storage areas, and of course, closets, which is a lot of places that's kind of used in, or laundry rooms. The HNG wraps are available in 2-foot and 4-foot versions, and each one of them features 4 wattage selections and 3 CCT selections. And what's nice about that is it makes sure that you get the right light for each application, and you can also reduce inventory because you've got the awesome ability to have that dual selectability, right? So the 2-foot offers lumens from as low as about 2100, I guess, and as high as about 4200, while the 4-foot ranges from about 4300 to about 8400. These are also there's also an option for an MTO battery backup option in case you want to do a battery backup. It just happens that I have the one with me that does have a battery backup in it, so you can see what that looks like. Now, the max lumens per watt come in at about 140. It does also include 12-volt aux output for additional flexibility, as well as that 2.5 kV surge protection. And that, again, helps against any type of voltage surges up to 2.5 kV. All right, so what's cool about this product? Let me go ahead and grab it. So you can see this is a little bit wider than the one I just showed you, and it's a little bit different style when it comes to how the lens comes around the luminaire, right? So I'm going to go ahead and take this off because I think most of us kind of want to look at what the inside of it looks like more than anything. So I'm going to try to set that there and hope it doesn't fall down. All right, so first of all, easily accepts the network lighting controls via controls ready. Okay, so there it is on the end of the luminaire. Unscrew that, and then you can put in your adapter, add your network lighting control or your standalone control, and you're very good to go. Okay. Now, I will tell you, if you are going to use a control solution utilizing this little port here on the end-to-end mounting is not possible when you do that. Okay, so you obviously can't push these end to end. And by the way, if you did try to do it end to end and you had a sensor here and you had 5 more luminaires end to end, that sensor is only going to control that one luminaire and that's it. The way that it works internally is that each individual luminaire has to have its own control in that type of setup. So just keep that in mind. Also, it's got that kind of modern angular design. It's a little bit of a newer design. Polycarbonate lens, it does also have that kind of edge-to-edge illumination. It is just, obviously wider, almost twice as wide as the other one I just showed you. As far as getting into the luminaire and having the installation fairly easily, it's not too bad, I'll be honest with you. But the one thing that I did notice is that there's 2 things you have to do. One, yes, it is a toolless lens removal. So it's very easy to remove the lens. That's no problem. And then when you have to actually get into where the driver is, this is where you have these like little wire wing, or these like little wing nuts. There's 2 of them. When you twist these, there's one here at the bottom too. When you twist these, this whole thing comes off, and that allows you to get into where the good stuff is, right? The only thing is that there's 2 screws you also have to undo. I happen to have the screws already undone just to make it easier for me right now. But just so you know, there's a screw there and also a screw up here underneath those wing nuts. But once you have that removed, now you can see you can get underneath, and it still also has those safety cables too. So you can make your electrical connection quite easily because everything just kind of hangs there. So it's a little bit easier concept. This one here, as I said, does have the EMBB built into it. That's that guy right there. It is an MTO. This one just happens to be a sample that we got that has it. You're going to notice we also have some of the Wagyu or the quick connectors as well. I am a huge fan of those because I hate those little other things that you have on. I'm not a fan of those. So I like those Wago little connectors. All right, what else? So the other thing that you're going to notice too is that there's this new quad pack optical design, and that is meant to ensure uniform distribution. As a matter of fact, when you look at this, you can kind of see they're like big eyeballs, right? And you can kind of see it there as well, but I'll try to get kind of a close-up of this thing. I don't know how well it'll show up on camera, but it's really neat. And the way that it works is that the 4 light engines are spaced to ensure unparalleled uniformity, and each LED is controlled using that precision optical lens, which is pretty neat. I like that design. I think it's pretty cool and kind of differentiates ourselves in the marketplace with that cool design as well. Again, don't forget to take a peek at the spec sheet. You can scan that QR code if you're interested in checking that out. And just to do a little quick side-by-side comparison, because a lot of people are like, well, what's really the difference between the FVL and the HNG wrap? They're both wraps, but what's going on? So the HNG is your performance class. The FVL is going to be your value class. The HNG is slightly more efficient. It also has that extra wattage selection of the 60 watts that allows it to go up to 8,400 lumens. The FVL is also about 5 inches wide, while the HNG is about twice that size. And the HNG, forgot to mention this, that's why I did that. All right, the HNG is pre-wired from the factory with that polarized wiring system for single circuit continuous mounting. I don't think I mentioned that. So keep in mind the HNG, all right, is polarized for single circuit continuous mounting. I mentioned that you could do end-to-end mounting, but I was talking more about the sensors and the controls more than I meant to talk a little bit more about the polarized wiring system. So that's a big selling feature of this particular product, the HNG as well. All right, let's go ahead and jump on to the next poll question. And it looks like there was some more questions that came up. So let's get done with the poll question first, and then I will address the questions that you guys have. All right, poll question number 2. I can't quite see over my screen here. All right, so what 2 things make the HNG wrap have that great uniformity that I talked about? Is it the quad pack optical design? Is it the dual selectable CCT and water selectable? Is it each LED is controlled using precision and precise optical lens? Or is it just the polycarbonate lens in general? So what 2 things makes that HNG wrap have that great uniformity? Some mixed mixed ones on this one. All right, I'll give it just a few more seconds here. I don't want to rush too many people on this. All right, and let me go ahead and share the results with you. And the answer should be the quad pack optical design, and the LED is controlled using precision optical lenses. Now I realize this question, I might have not set this up as a two question. I might have I think I only set it up as a single answer. So if you guys were like, hey, there's two good answers, you were right. Sorry, you probably weren't able to select them both, but anyways, you guys didn't do too bad on that. All right, let's get to the Q&A in the chat. So let's go to the chat first. The internal link components can be used to have one sensor control multiple wrap HNG. Can, okay. The two screws on the lens, they are for shipping only. They can be discarded after initial installation. So, all right, so let's talk about both of these things. Actually, Eric, can you go ahead and take yourself off mute? Eric is our product manager, and he is here to correct anything I say wrong. So let's first of all talk a little bit about the two screws that I talked about here.
Yeah, so sure. Those two screws are just so that lens tray doesn't come loose during shipping across the oceans, and so it's only there for protection during shipping. And they have to be removed to get that lens tray out, but then they can just be thrown away. They don't need to be used to hold that lens tray in place. So that's a belt and suspenders approach there. And we mentioned that when the HNG are mounted end to end, they cannot have those external sensors simply because they're getting those sensor mounting holes are being blocked end to end. But if we start with a link sensor at the very first fixture, motion sensor, and we use the internal link components in the following fixtures, then there's no issue with all of the fixtures being controlled by that one sensor. Up to 100 can be controlled with that one sensor.
Yes, you absolutely are correct. The point is that it's very clear, and I'm glad you said that, Eric, is that you would have to have a fixture controller in each one of those other luminaires that are in that continuous run, but that would be a workaround. So if you wanted to have a continuous run, have your one plugged in at the end for the sensor, but you still would have to purchase a fixture controller for each one of those other ones in that row. So yes, great point. I'm glad you said that. And then go keep yourself on off of mute for just a second. It says, what would be the application for the 12 volt on the fixtures? Eric, I'll let you answer since you're already talking. I've got my own answer for that, but go ahead.
Sure. One of any accessory that runs off of 12 volts is that aux 12 volt aux is designed to run those. As they ship, that also enables this field installable sensor or link components to be utilized, either PIR link or that microwave sensor internally. All of those operate from that 12 volt aux. However, if there is something that an end user wants to install that is not, a standard 12 volt accessory that's enlisted in our PIB, that 12 volt aux can also be utilized for that purpose.
Perfect. Good question, by the way. All right, so I think we've got these all answered and should be good to go. Eric, if you're there, you can maybe clean those up, answer the question by typing it in, just a quick answer if you don't mind, and then we can move on to, or I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next one. All right, so if there's no more questions, let's go ahead and rock and roll. Oh, I actually have another question for you guys. So this question, I was being, I guess, a little bit like, hey, let's make sure we don't leave anybody out here. So let's go ahead and launch the third question, and that is, the FVL wrap is pre-wired for single circuit. Ooh, don't be so fast to answer this. The FVL wrap is pre-wired for single circuit through wiring. No additional wiring is needed for continuous row mounting. Saves time, material, and installation costs. Do we have some people maybe taking back some answers on this? All right. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and end the poll, share the results, and nice job. Yes, no, this is false. It's the HNG that is pre-wired for that. Okay. All right, moving on. Okay, next up, we have the dual selectable performance class dual selectable ILT vapor tight. Now, this is DLC premium. It is also IP66, which also makes it wet location. It is NEMA 4X. It does meet NSF splash zone ratings. FCC, RoHS, and of course, backed by our trusted warranty too. Now, this is really good. Oh, by the way, this is also controls ready. Also, these vapor tights are really good to be used in like parking garages. We see them a lot. They're sometimes covered walkways, stairwells, warehouses, food storage and prep areas that require that splash zone rating as well. That gives you a couple ideas of where you would use this. By the way, a vapor tight is not an enclosed luminaire. All right, there is a difference. So vapor tights are truly sealed up, and that's why they typically have that NEMA 4X and that IP66 rating. Now, the ILT is available in a 2, a 4, and an 8-foot version, each offering 3 wattage selections and 3 CCT selections. This ensures that you get exactly the right light, again, for the application, which also helps in reducing the inventory for our distributor partners. There is also an MTO, emergency battery backup, that you can get as well, or you can also get a 6-foot cord added to it too, which is kind of nice. The other thing is that the EMBB, by the way, is only factory installed, in case you're wondering. Now, low lumens can range from as low as about 2,100 and as high as 14,000, which makes this kind of a leader in the industry with 14,000 lumens, which is pretty impressive. Many of the competitors don't quite go up to 14,000, so something to kind of keep in mind. Now, the max lumens per watt do come in at about 140. If you are using the EMBB, it is not rated to go up quite that far. So just kind of keep that in mind. And also, this one does also include the 12-volt aux, just like the other ones we talked about too. And that just gives you the additional flexibility when adding controls and doing some other things as well. So it's kind of nice to have that. This one also has a little bit higher kV at 6 kV of surge protection. And again, that's going to help a little bit with those surge protections that we sometimes get, especially in industrial applications. All right, so let me go ahead and grab this guy. All right, so here he is. So what are the things that really we need to talk about with this particular product? Well, one, yes, the controls ready is super important. That's a thing that we've been talking about a ton today, right? I knew we would. It has the ability to easily accept the behind the lens standalone microwave sensor, or it also has that 3-prong plug. Again, no special wiring, no electrician. I'm trying to think, where is this at? Is it on the side? Is it on the end? I should probably look for this thing. The product managers are going to have to tell me where the knockout is for the plug, but we'll come back to that in a second. Anyway, oh, and maybe when we get here, I think it's Amanda, you're going to have to make sure that this is capable of the plug-in style. I think perhaps maybe this is only available with the behind the lens standalone microwave sensor. As I'm saying this more, is that correct?
Yes,
that
is correct. Yes.
Okay, I was like, wait a second, I think I'm wrong here. Too many products I have to remember. Thank you. So yes, this is controls ready with only the behind the lens standalone microwave sensor. It does have like that 3 prongs that you still plug in, but it's only the behind the lens. Thank you. It does also have an integrated lens and that LED tray, just like the other one that I talked about. So again, what's nice about this is that if I didn't have it sealed up, I could probably do this thing quicker. So the two together comes apart nicely. You don't have to have a lens separate from the tray, and you don't have all these extra pieces and parts that you have to worry about laying around and getting trampled or perhaps ran over or whatever the case is. There's no tools either needed to remove the lens. As you saw, there's just these really nice stainless steel clips. Now, this can be surface or suspended mounted. V-hooks are included as well. There is an optional corner mount accessory. There's basically a bracket in case you want to mount this to like a corner, which sometimes that does happen. And then there's also chain mount that you can get to. They're 5 foot long, and it's just 1 pair per each NAID codes. Okay. There's also this super robust design that this product has: the UV stabilized polycarbonate lens, the stainless steel clips, the fact that it's NEMA 4X, which means it can basically exclude at least 65 gallons per minute of water from a 1-inch nozzle, not less than 10 feet away for 5 minutes. Yes, I have that written down. There's no way I would remember that. Anyway, it's also corrosion resistant. It does have that 6 kV of surge protection. And by the way, many of our competitors only offer 2.5 kV of surge protection. Ours is 6 kV. So another little differentiator too. This is a little bit of a wider body as well. It comes in at about 4.3 inches total. All right, so let me get this out of my hand. Pray that it doesn't fall down. Okay, stay there. Okay, let's see. We should be having a question. Oh, not quite yet. All right, so let's do a little comparison because obviously you guys probably know we have other vapor tights. So what's the difference between all of them? Well, when you compare the ILT to our other vapor tights, you're going to see, you know, really overall, it just is a great addition to our product lineup already. There's a lot of options depending upon what voltage you need, what length you need, what wattage you need, what lumen output you need, what lumens per watt you're looking for. And also we give you the options for how wide does the luminaire have to be as well. So these things that I kind of highlighted are just for you to kind of take a peek at and get familiar with the fact that there are some differentiators between all of them. And it just really depends on the application, what you're looking for. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and launch poll number 4. Hang on 1 second. Launch. All right. How do you add controls to the ILT vapor tight? After I debacled this up, hopefully everybody knows how to do this. All right. Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna have a few people go, oh, what did she say? All right. At least you make me feel better that most of you are getting this question right. All right. Okay. Nice job. Yes, it's only behind the lens. So nice job on that. And sometimes when you debacle things up, people will remember it. So that's not such a bad thing. Okay, what do we have up next? I think we have our last product. Oh no, we got 2 more products left. All right, so this is a really cool one. Very innovative for sure, which is awesome. So this is the performance class dual selectable flat panel retrofit. And it is DLC standard. It's damp location, FCC, RoHS, backed by that trusted warranty I keep talking about. It also features easy swap and of course scale design. Easy swap I'm going to be digging into here in a little bit. And I think I also mentioned scale design on the next slide too. So where do you use these kind of retrofit kits? In a lot of places. All right. They're used a lot where there's already a 2x2 or a 2x4 fluorescent in the space. Typically you find these in a lot of offices, definitely schools, hotels, motels, hallways, retail spaces, multi-purpose areas, a lot of general purpose lighting applications. They're all over the place, quite honestly. Now, the flat panel retrofit kit is available in only 2x2 and 2x4. I know some of you might be saying, well, when's the 1x4 coming? Hopefully by the end of the year or early next year. But right now we are only offering it in a 2x2 and a 2x4. Each offering does have 3 wattage selections and also 3 CCT selections. They have a really nice, clean white finish, as you can see here. There also is a factory installed made to order emergency battery backup option as well. The lumens do range from as low as about 2,200 to as high as 5,000. And the max lumens per watt come in at about 110. So let's go ahead and get to the main feature of this particular product. So this is something called Easy Swap. And Easy Swap is a feature on not only these panels, but also on some of our retrofit downlights. Easy Swap is all about making retrofitting the fixtures super simple, super easy. Specifically for the Easy Swap panels, you can totally completely say goodbye to a bunch of parts and pieces. Instead, it's just one part, one piece, everything's all combined, which makes it so that you don't have so many pieces floating around, you don't misplace any pieces, and it makes installation way faster too, because you're not having to screw a bunch of parts and pieces to the existing fixture body. Also, the Easy Swap is a simple retrofit, basically featuring these torsion springs. Let me go ahead and grab this and I'll talk a little bit more about it also on the next slide. But there are these these torsion springs. I don't know how well you guys can see this, but we'll try our best. So these, and I'll show you more specifically how these install in just a second, but these torsion springs are what really makes Easy Swap an Easy Swap solution, right? So what happens is that these torsion springs go up into the existing fixture. And again, what that means is less material, less time installing, and just a really quicker, easier install with minimal parts and pieces. All right, so let's go ahead and That's going to go all the way down the ground. Yep. Okay. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about how this really installs. All right. So I already mentioned it has a one-piece design for these torsion springs. They slide in the channel so that you can easily put them into the spaces you need to on the existing luminaire. I highly encourage you guys to take a peek at the pictures that I have right there. That's the best way that I can show. Thanks to our product manager for taking these images, by the way. So basically what happens is that, first of all, you take these 4 cables and you stick them up inside the holes that are in the existing fixture. And then the fixture hangs there nicely. And then you make your electrical connection. And then once you have your electrical connection all done, then you take these torsion little springs, and then they go up into another little space within that fixture. That's how it works. And as a matter of fact, I have witnessed this. We have one installed here at Light Point, and it looks really nice, by the way, when it's all installed. It's a nice, clean, uniformed. It's a nice looking design. You know, it's very clean, shall I say. All right. So that's how that works. Pretty clever, pretty innovative. And I think we have a patent that's pending on that currently as well. So what is scale design? Well, scale design is all about recognizing the LEDVANCE brand, right? So obviously orange, I usually wear my orange. I did not wear my orange today, but I had a scarf that I was going to put on. I decided not to. But it's all about recognizing the brand, whether that's orange or whether that's the pulse somewhere on the fixture, or maybe just the name as well, embedded into or engraved into the luminaire. It's all about being able to have that brand and that recognition. That's part of our scale design. Also, you're going to notice that the driver housing is easily acceptable. The selectable switches for the CCT and the wattage are on the outside of the driver box. There are also a couple of knockouts too that you can access. So where's this one at? There they are. So here are the switches on the top for the selectability. And then there are 3 knockouts here on the front. And then there's also one smaller knockout. It's not quite the same size as the larger ones, but there's also a small knockout on the side of that driver box too. What's nice is that the whole thing all works together to make sure that the heat gets dissipated. Everything works together. It's a super robust design too. It's rigid, and I think you're going to really be impressed with this particular product. Okay, so how does this compare to the other one that we have? There are definitely some similarities between the original one and this one. But the thing that I really like to highlight here is the new one is now available in 120 to 347 volts. And that new cool one-piece easy swap design is another big thing too. So a couple of different things to mention on that. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to our next poll question. Number 5. Okay, what do you think is the best feature of the new easy swap luminaire? I made this too easy, didn't I? Oh, I guess everybody kind of has their own opinion, so there's not really necessarily a wrong answer for this particular one. All right, boy, we've gotten better participation towards the end, or otherwise people were really interested in this, or you're getting faster, one of the two. All right, so nice job. All of the above is what I would say, but you're not necessarily wrong with the new one-piece design. And I'm sure some people also like the 120 to 347. So awesome, good job. All right, now we are on to our last product. So before I talk about our last product, I wanted to just talk high level about EV chargers, okay? So I found this chart on the mighty web. I do so much Googling these days, and I thought it was pretty useful. It shows that there are areas within the United States, I'm sure there's probably some in Canada too, I just happen to come up with this chart in the US, that is showing where people or energy codes are requiring the implementation of solar or EV due to energy codes. For today, of course, I want to focus on EV because that's our next product highlight. So you're going to notice that the blue and the orange means that electrical vehicle ready isn't required, or ready, capable, or installed is necessary in those areas. And I'm guessing most likely this graphic is just going to continue to have way more orange and more blue very, very soon. So the good news is that LEDVANCE is here to help. And what's even better news is that as we're out talking to these facility managers and we're out talking to some of these distributor salespeople, depending upon what your role is on this call, we have the opportunity now to go out and open up a whole nother opportunity to start talking about EV chargers. I have noticed just myself, the more grocery stores I go to, the more restaurants I go to, there are more EV chargers popping up. And of course, we have that commercial charger, and now we've also are introducing our residential charger. So now is the best time to go out and start talking about EV chargers. So this is another good way to emerge into new markets. As I said, we offer both the commercial and the residential EV solutions. These are a level 2, which means they're up to 11.5 kW charging. They do have that SAE, I'm gonna have to look at my notes here, SAE J1772 connector. Okay, let's just be real here. It's the connector that most people use, except for Tesla. Tesla, of course, has their own adapter, but the nice thing, or their own plug, but the nice thing is that you can use an adapter, and that our plug, our charger will work with Tesla. You just need an adapter, so no big deal. Both of these, whether you're looking at the commercial one or the residential one, they are both NEMA 4X. They are also IP65, and they are rated for either indoor or outdoor use. They also feature the smart controls, which basically means that you have all the information that you need at your fingertips about the performance and just about how everything's doing, because obviously you want to make sure you got the right charge, that everything's performing the way it should. All of that's at your fingertips as well. We do have the commercial phase EV level 2 out since about summer of 2023. And now, of course, as I mentioned, we are bringing out our phase EV level 2 residential charging station. All right, so what's cool about this product? All right, let me see if I can do this without making a complete disaster. Let me bring this into the picture. Da, 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 da. All right, here we go. Good. Okay. By the way, in case I forget to mention, fancy box. Okay, that's gonna look nice at some counters for sure. So that would be kind of cool to have at a counter on display, right? All right, so here's where we are at. First, as far as adaptability goes, this is what we care about right here. All right, so this is the SAE J1772 charge gun, and it is currently the most widely used non-Tesla connection that's out there. But again, you can easily use a connector adapter for Tesla. Installation is also super simple. It has the level 2, 208 to 240 volts. So, you know, this isn't something that you're gonna, like, if you're a residential customer, if you're somebody that's like, oh, hey, I really need to get that from LEDVANCE, I'm just gonna go ahead and like plug this thing in. You are gonna have to have an electrician if you don't have 208 to 240 volts. 11.5 kilowatt max output power at 240 volts, 48 amp total max output current. Comes in a wired comes in wire with a 28-inch input cable. So here's the cable we're talking about. So this can't be 28 inches. 28 inches? No. 28. Well, maybe it is 28 inches. I don't know. Probably not. Anyway, Eric will correct me on that too. Flexibility. Here we go. This is what I'm looking at. 25-foot charging cable. That's what I'm looking for. All right. So this is what's nice, is that way, if you put it into a garage, you have a little bit more flexibility because of the 25-foot length on it. So you don't have to be right next to your car. You have a little bit of flexibility from that. As far as code compliant goes, it is UL 2594 compliant, NEC 625 compliant. It is also a fast charge, level 2 fast charge. And that basically means that you can get 42 miles of range per hour of charge. That's pretty impressive. So if you charge it for 1 hour, you're going to get 42 miles. And then, of course, we can't forget the app as well. So the way this works, I'm going to just set this thing down because I have a feeling it's going to fall otherwise. So the app is a free Sylvania Wi-Fi app, and it totally gives you the best user experience ever. It gives you the flexibility that you need as well, and it gives you all the options that you need right at your fingertips. So what's nice about the app is that you have everything you need, plus it's a cool app and it's free. So you can take advantage of everything that you need to right at your fingertips and know exactly what's going on, from energy usage to taking advantage of the utility rebates and anything else that are out there too for EV chargers. So all of that's really cool. Again, don't forget to check out the spec sheet for that as well. Now let's just do a little bit of a side-by-side comparison from the commercial to the residential charger. Some of the big differences include how to charge the output current. Commercial one uses dip switches. Residential one uses the free app, okay? The commercial one has more mounting options with the pedestal and also being able to kind of do like a dual setup as well. And that makes sense because obviously for commercial, you might need something like that. Residential, probably not that important. Commercial one does use software provided by Amp Up, while the residential one is just a simple plug and play system controlled by the Sylvania app. Of course, the reason that the commercial one uses the Amp Up is because people are making money on that, right? So we want people to be able to make money and service the people that are coming in. So residential one, you don't need that, okay? So in summary, it's kind of cool that we have both of those, right? So, all right, so let me go ahead and launch the last poll question and get you guys on your way today. All right, so the question is why do we need to start talking to contractors, engineers, and installers, as well as facility managers about EV? All right, are we gonna get 100%? The last one, nope. Why did I even say it? All right, I tried. Okay, we're gonna end the poll. For the most part, you guys did just fine. Yes, energy codes are starting to implement EV requirements, so good time to start talking to your people about that. All right, so let me go check to see, are your EVs CSA approved? Eric, are our EVs CSA approved?
So yeah, they are ETLE for both the United States and Canada. The residential charger is for sale in Canada, but from the specific details of the commercial charger, there doesn't have any French options on the screen. So they're not for sale in Canada at this point, but we are coming out with by the end of this year a version of the screen that has both English and French. So the commercial version will be available in Canada.
Okay, perfect. And then was there anything else that, is there an installation video? Yes, we're in the process of getting one. That was for the easy swap. What would be the application for the 12 volt and the fixtures? You answered that one, so we're good there. Okay. Anything else that I might have misspoke on that any of the product managers need to just clarify or whatever? That now's a great time to do it.
Yeah, so while I'm unmuted, the charger does have a 25-foot cable that goes from the charger to the vehicle, so that enables you to install it essentially anywhere in a garage, and it will very likely be able to reach all four corners of a car and a two-car garage, for example, if you install it in the middle of the front wall. And the other cable is 28 inches, and that cable is the power input cable. So the end of that 28 inches would need to go into that junction box that we mentioned earlier, which requires, in a residential application, it would require a two-pole 240 volt breaker.
Yes, I'm holding it now. This little guy
Yeah.
was kind of like hiding. So I was like, where's the 28 inch come from? That's where it comes from. So got it. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate your support on that. Trying to make these things so they don't fall all over the place is sometimes the biggest challenge of doing these trainings. All right. Anything else? Anything else that the product managers need to clear up or talk about, or anything else to add? Okay, then. So we always appreciate your feedback on what you think about these presentations, how we can make them better, how we can improve them, whatever. So scan the QR code if you don't mind. Let us know how we're doing, and then get prepared for the next product launch, which I think is like on a Wednesday in June, maybe like the 12th, perhaps, if I remember correctly. But anyways, we welcome you guys to attend those, and also keep an eye out for our training page on LEDVANCEUS.com. It is almost ready to be launched. How about a loop video on the EV? Eric, there was one more question that came in at the very last minute here. How about the loop video on EV?
Yes, we are working on that. It's not available today, but we are working on a video for distributor where showrooms.
Perfect. Okie dokie. Well, thank you all. Thank you, product managers, for jumping on as well. And I appreciate everybody attending today. Take care.